But people are hungry for information. And information does not filter through the press.
G17.
The press is part of the system.
D17.
Rockefeller, the richest people in the world, they at the New York Times, and they print what they want. It was unethical thugs, pimps, and whores. And they control everything. And because we, the people, hear what they tell us, and because they're white folks or black folks even questions it. Bring it all of us, you all came to 44,000 internet radios send information. See, that's what Trump knows. And he knows there's certain things he better not say. And so you got white America, that's more than all black neighborhood, St. Louis. So I went around with white folks. Okay. They said in order to look back and see, you have to do research. I was not around no white except the good ones. I'm talking about not racist, the ones that come and collect the money, sell you something. And then when you start doing the research, you realize Sears and Roebuck was invented by black. And then he, some kind of way they bought him out. I don't mean negatively. But if you ever shopped at Sears and you get a bill, the store says Sears, but legally all the bills have to say Sears Roebuck, or you don't have to pay them. Okay. And so you can have the time to drill into that. There's no way that all the stuff you got, Jones and thugs don't know about. But these kids, see, I didn't know about these things. I never lived around. I saw them go to they weren't there. The military. Ask yourself just one simple question. We're the richest country in the world. We have the mightiest research in the world. So how can we send soldiers to Vietnam, Korea, little countries that ain't got a Nico? And how our soldiers come back with all kinds of syndromes? American soldiers commit suicide 46 every day. We didn't need to that one. Now they don't have huge hospitals and researching everything. We don't know about it. But because nobody cares about it better, now you look at the time you go kill somebody for somebody you don't know, but they're not going to send their children. And the folks that make the money is the munitions people. There's something wrong with that. The president, 6 months ago, signed an $80 billion check for Jeff Frank. Now, you don't hear them on TV or radio begging for money like they do for veterans. I mean, you got an $80 billion check to the airline industry that's making planes, but the people who's been wounded, one leg cut off, arms cut off, all kinds of little things. And so the officers have come to saying, what's the difference between me and Vietnamese? Well, if you're not Christian, if you're not no religion, growing up in America, you hear, "Thou shalt not kill." You hear that? So is this what makes Americans? Is that implanted there that should not kill and they see they are killing people? I don't know. But you sit and you look and you say, there's something that's not right about this. And then you have if you look at your rich Christians in America, rich, they don't wear crosses. DuPont, Salmon, Rockefeller. The folk don't wear crosses except when they're doing some kind of ritual. I look at black folks that talk about we was here billions of years before white folks were. I mean, everything white folks had, they took it from you and then made it white. Made it white. If you was here, which you were. And so when you stop and think about the dinosaur was here 3 billion years ago. The dinosaur, 3 billion years ago. And they were bigger than mountains. But what they didn't tell you is some of the butterfly here when the dinosaur was here. And so was the turtle. Was here. Turtle was still here. And so when you move from the religion that we've been trained to the real, universal force. See, the word God means power. We don't have a God. That's why they call him the Godfather. And you heard nobody complain. And so when you stop and think about the same God that made the moon and the sun that made me. So when I look at my hands, and I got 5 fingers on each hand, and it never changes. That God don't make no mistake. No mistake at all.
So that's one of the things that I want to ask you, but we can get around to.
I guess
We'll speak of the universal God, the power of the universe.
Well, I was sneak over into Stephen.
And I was really curious, like, are there things that we can do to tap into that power?
They're going into it. It's like you're going with $10 billion in the bank, but they told you what it's still there. They can't steal it. They can use it as long as you don't know you have it. You know. And then you've been duped by your parents and you didn't know. If my mother heard you talking on a show like this, she called the police. That's my mother. This is the woman that would hop her house to put bail money up if I actually murdered somebody. So when you sit and think about it, here's that universal force. That's who made your head, not Susan over, not Target. Do you think that God put something on you that needs to be cut off? Think about that.
So why is it that so many of us are still in the dark about this?
Why wouldn't you be in the dark? You've been trained to be in the dark. Been trained. I mean, on Thanksgiving, we pray for the abundance. Now think about this. If I work for you and you pay me $1,000 a week, so one day I want to thank you. So do I give you a day for free, or do I charge you $10,000? Which one?
I guess I'll take the free day.
I'm not asking you, guess what you take? I said, I'm talking about you, if I say thanks to you? Do I give you a day for free or do I charge you $10,000? That's a simple question. Huh? I work for free. So on Thanksgiving, if that's the day we pray to the universe, thanks, then why don't we not eat that day? Why do you eat more that day than you eat any other day in the year? That's all I'm trying to say. You know, I'm not here to trick you or nobody else. And you can't trick me because I started off like you. Huh? I started off as ignorant mother, ignorant father. Huh? I remember one day, my brothers and sisters said to my mother, Richard don't say no blessing over the room. It scared her. It scared her. So she grabbed my hand. I didn't know it was her. I looked around and I said, bitch, you out your motherfucking mind? She said, what you call me? I said, I call you a bitch. What did you hear that? I hear daddy call you that all the time and you ain't never grabbed his heels. He's the one that brings women in the house. He was the rent money. I've never. Why do I not say the blessing? The Indians taught us Thanksgiving. How many black folks do you know, including you, have ever said thanks to the Indians on that? And so I said, wow, man, what is that's not hard to figure out. And so 3 hours later, after my dad called all that together and knocked it down, I hear him back in the back room making this strange sound. I said, if you come down the basement and drill what I stole, I'll come up here and drill what you stole. I hope that's a peace into you. I just can't justify how we make it. I see you come out to rich white folks' homes, some stole food, and then show me and cook it, and then want me to take the lesson. I don't feel what's stolen food. I was 9 years old, man. I was here looking, you see it, man. Didn't know where to get. Went to church. Heard all the stories. Why would the universal force that gave me everything I have, give me hair that have to be cut off? These little eyelashes have never been put where you feel it. But we're so busy into the, and this is going to change stuff. And some of y'all got it, don't not even know what you put out there. But there's people out there that you gotta watch talks. Many times.
And every time I see something new, as my consciousness evolves, I hear it even more.
Yeah.
So, help me, help us come out of the dark. How
you supposed to come out there? You own a Rolls Royce, I'm on welfare, nigga. Don't ask me what I haven't got a Rolls Royce. You got to stop, y'all keep talking. Huh? You keep talking, man. And you shut the fuck up. Huh? Cause the next thing you don't know. Huh? A Rolls Royce. You got I gotta use shipping. So why you compare yours to mine and wonder why I have not one? Everything the universe wants me to have, I've got the same thing Queen Elizabeth got. Huh? I've got the same thing. You see, The universe made women, and men made women. The universe made men, and men made kings. The difference between a woman and a queen and a man and a king is the way you wrap the year. So I see your sister here, baby, she'll know it. I'm going to convince her I love her. I'm going to buy her a gift. I'm on the Target. But on the way back, I stopped at Factory Andy and get him to put Factory Andy tag. I go by Neiman Marcus and give him the gift wrapping. Oh, he loves me. Huh? See that work? See that work? And so we give them special power to oversee us.
No, I don't got no lemon to put on the bottle.
And that's about to change now. There's a new set of people. You know, one of the interesting stories about them. Together, they put an airline company together that embarrassed all the other airlines to get me. She didn't believe in hiring nobody out of college. And the thing took off so fast, he had to go on stock market to get money. That's right. So now he had to have a board of directors. He didn't own it no more. He got stock, cash. But when you're dealing with other people's money, so they asked us some questions and said, well, we can't just go there and fire him. Not fire him, they had to give him extra $1 billion worth of stock. Cash. Still with the company, but he don't make the decision. So then he ended up opening up PayPal. So how you gonna figure out something if you don't know that? You do the same thing I ain't never leave it alone. So now he has the number one company in the world in South America. This is what he figured out. If you live in South America, the roads are raggedy. The airport is paving in. So your father and mother live 80 miles from you. You see him once every 3 years. And he came in with that jet losing count. And fixed their planes. Made them larger. So now you can go visit your father every week for $30 round trip. See, that's a little shit. Oh. Huh? You can watch out there all the time. Huh? That's all right. This is the new thinking out here now. Okay, so you can't come with old shit. And what? That's over. Yeah. So when you sit, when you look at all these folks that still come down, it's a new group of thinkers, what is called indigo people. They go out there and vote. 2 years they do that. Couldn't keep going. Some of them did government stuff. I never believed in the woman that wrote Harry Potter. You stupid. She's in a home for poor folks. She's on welfare. And she writes a book that gives us billions of dollars. And then one day, the Japanese found out the hard way what a lot of them did. Children start falling dead. Moving as his mind. Oh, well, well, somebody give it to her, somebody to trust her.
Say again?
Nobody will trust her. And so, consequently, when you look at the human body, when I was a little boy, 85 this year, I was a little boy, I used to hear old men, you know, call their testicles tubular. So somebody come out and ask most folks what it is. You try to figure it out, you don't know. The sperms live at a temperature 2 below your body's temperature. Simple. But not simple when ignorant folks are trying to figure it out. And so in the summertime, the testicles swing down. That's why the ants wear the baby pants. Huh? In the wintertime, they swing up. If you go home today, they get in the bathtub and tell somebody to turn the hot water on, you see your testicles hang down. You say turn the cold water on, you see it pull up. So when the Germans came out with the jockey shot, that's the sterilized. Okay? If you look at a baseball game, you look at a baseball game, you see the player and they go down and touch their testicles. You feel the film of what it is. They got a jock strap on. And that's a violation. The universe fixed it so those sperms will live at a body temperature 2 degrees below the body. So in the old days when they made trucks, and these truck drivers couldn't have children because they put the engine under the seat.
Going back to individual children again. Yeah, so it's a daughter of the Arabs. Your level of consciousness this next generation has.
1985 before I was born. IQ 200. You and your wife had an identical child while y'all thinking traveling back to other planets. In the black community, most of you that because the ignorance that we have, and because of oppression, I can't.
I got to more stuff for me to find places to put. Put them in a bag and put them over there to cut. I'm trying to figure out how to get this knife inside the seed and take it out like how they do.
What you
And
left
everything
out
else,
is the tree
you
of the
just stab
dollar
it
that was spent to
and it
move them
just
to
pop
that.
right out. They ain't doing that today.
What's it cost to go to Howard University compared to what it costs to MIT?
You out the lead?
Yeah.
What kind of test is MIT? Compared to what you take to get in? Howard University is probably the #1 black institution on the planet.
Hey, mama, you learn how to grow avocado? I guess.
Howard University named after the white general.
Real quick, I'll be right back.
Indian children. What are you going to do?
The son avocado got to go on this bristle.
Salmon, the #1 black woman food on the planet, named after Rockefeller Palmer. If you shut up, say, wait, what did she do? What's her claim to fame? This is simple. Then you look her up and you find out what she did. Can you name a Jew naming one of their #1 institutions after Hitler's mama? And so when you stop and you think, oh, it's here. Here, you was born with it. Why I need somebody to tell me I am somebody? Because I don't know I am. You got here the same way I got here. I got here the same way he got here. We got here the same way Queen Elizabeth got here. A penis goes into a vagina and ejaculates 500 million sperms. And the one responsible for you and me and him and Queen Elizabeth outran 500 million sperms and got there first. You know, one sperm come out slowly, scrolled up the fallopian tubes. If you said, man, we're going to dinner tonight, it's a 500 million restaurant here. I'm going to take you to the best one. I don't want you to go with me. Now, let's go back. When the ejaculation starts, the sperms now come out the testicles, comes through the prostate, and that's where they get their electrical charge. Before then, they just laying dormant. And then it comes down. And so, cause I live in a system, well, white boy that took my manhood. Huh? So that's why when I'm having sex with my woman, I want her to yell and holler, and I'm trying to get my manhood back. Dad wasn't meant for that. Get it, Daddy. Black man is the only man, American black, the only black man on the planet talking about good pussy. What the fuck is good pussy, man? What's good pussy? Dude, that's some good pussy. But she's into her fifth husband before I'm getting thinking of that good. What do you know about this? I think. So then you start saying, well, something's not right. In America, black men is 4%. 82% of prostate cancer deaths in America is black men. Hey, wait a minute. I live in a country with almost 500 million people, and I'm 4%, but 82% of prostate cancer deaths? Nobody thinks about that. Nobody thinks about that. Why? Because I'm having sex to have fun and get a man with that. The universe gave me that to produce another God. We're the only man on the planet, a black man. They call our black woman strong. You're strong, sister. But calling your car beautiful.
You! God! Woo-hoo!
Good.
Couldn't feel something that comes over you. Simple enough. The reason why Donald Trump is where he's at, if we relate it to film, I think there's certain films that people need to see that point to the danger of why Donald Trump is so important with his cult of personality. Man,
with all the gangbangers, right? All the gangbangers that's supposed to be banging and shit. Okay, the cops are killing us. Why aren't you shooting at them for us? What happened, gangbangers? All of a sudden they at home. They're at home. We're all just talking gangbangers. We need you. Hello? Hey, man, the Italians got mafia. Like the Italians, you know what I love about the mafia and the Italians? They protect their neighborhoods. They protect their neighborhoods. They protect their people. We're the only motherfuckers that have no mafia. Black people don't have mafia. We can't even organize crime.
We can't even organize crime. That's funny.
You have what it takes to be a public figure. Yes, you. You should read books, speak at dozens of events in front of dozens of audiences, making a powerful message that you love, a message that you love. You could be making incredible money doing this as well. How do I know? Because I've helped a lot of people do just that. I'm listening, and I want to let you know all that I know about how to break into public speaking and how you masterful it. I've helped hundreds, actually thousands of people who once said that they didn't have speaking skills, or they wondered, do I have speaking skills? Or they believed that they had zero speaking skills. Actually, we were able to help them light up a room with their message, move their audience to action, and build a really amazing lifestyle. The truth is, some of the world's greatest speakers, the same ones that light you up, the same ones that you watched their careers and watched them inspire thousands of people, you know, they aren't reinventing the wheel. There is a process. They were born same as you, wondering if they had speaking skills, wondering how to become stronger. They
In 1942 in Louisville, Kentucky, Mr. and Mrs. Cassius Marcellus Clay christened their newborn son Cassius Clay Jr. About 22 years later, Cassius Clay renounced his name and its associations and elected to call himself Muhammad Ali, which is, of course, how we shall refer to him tonight. Even as tomorrow, should he change his name back, we would refer to him as Cassius Clay. In changing his name, Muhammad Ali intended to disavow his culture and to adopt membership in the Black Muslim movement of which he is an apostle. When a little bit later, he was called by the Selective Service Board to serve in the armed forces, Muhammad Ali explained that he was proof against such laws as a minister of the Islamic faith, as taught by Elijah Muhammad. The courts were not impressed. The boxing commissioner stripped him of his boxing crown, and very soon, assuming the Supreme Court of the United States goes wrong, Muhammad Ali will go to jail or renounce his citizenship and forfeit his bail. Muhammad Ali defended his world heavyweight crown 6 times in 11 months and won them all. His career as a boxer, until he was funny listed dead in his tracks, was ridiculed as primarily an act of self-promotion, an art at which young Cassius Clay was greatly proficient. I'm the greatest, he told everyone. They all must fall in the round I call, he versified. And just about the time that he had established his supremacy beyond reasonable doubt, he felt the afflatus of Elijah Muhammad, and he had been something very special. Of course, I was the onlyest boxer in history people asked questions like a senator, he said. But even so, he wouldn't have it otherwise. I'd like to begin by asking Mr. Ali, what makes him believe that the same country that glorified Joe Louis would want to persecute you?
First of all, I'd like to thank you for the brief introduction. You covered a lot of space in such a short time. You did make a few points that I would like to straighten up, and I'm sure you did,
Yes,
just
sir.
without knowledge of what you were saying. When I did not take the name, just name myself Cassius Clay. This is an honorable name, Muhammad Ali, given to me by my religious leader and teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I would like to say that Muhammad means in Arabic, one whose word of praise is one praise, and Ali means the Most High. But the slave name Clay meant dirt with no ingredients. But what
The
another
slave word which?
Clay means dirt with no ingredients. Names have meanings in different countries. And I also would like to say that I'm not an apostle of the Muslim religion. We believe that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the apostle of Allah God, but I'm only a helper, a minister of his. And I also like to say that you mentioned that I accepted Cassius Clay, and I just announced my culture. Well, I did not disregard my culture. If I did, it was the white American culture. And I've accepted my true culture when I accepted Muhammad Ali because this is a black name. Islam is the black man's religion. And so I would like to say, I would like to clarify that point that I reclaim my real culture, and that's being a black man and wearing a black name with a black body, not a white name. So I want to say that I didn't disown my culture. But I would say I put down a lot of the white American culture and ways and beliefs. And answering the last question about Joe Lewis and me, why was he so praised and me not? I would like to speak from my knowledge. The reason I can see is Joe Lewis was what you would call, or what a white would call, a good red-blooded American boy who went to the army and told the world we must fight for our country. And in his times, we didn't have the protesting and the things that we're having today. But I would say that I received respect by not only blacks around the world and around the Muslim, but all throughout white America, more so than any blacks, including Joe Lewis, and mainly with the college youth of today. So I'm just a lot different from, I would say, Joe Lewis. I guess that's why I'm a little bit different.
Well, I understand the point that you're making, and I think you make it very well. But you have, in fact, said publicly on a number of occasions that America was looking for a way to get back at you because we are a white culture. And I'm asking you, if we were looking for a way to get at you, why was it that Joe Lewis was so popular with the same white America?
Well, I can't
That's why we had it
recall,
into you.
I can't recall saying whites as a whole was out to get me because many know nothing about me or care nothing about me or what I believe. And what I believe or what I do will never harm, nor will they have to come in my path. But I did make a statement that many of the boxing authorities and the people who wanted to get me out of the way couldn't do it physically. And many people are sure in government. So the legal way they could say take the title and then make it look justifiable to the public was to say that he wouldn't serve his country. Twice, if you recall, I was denounced by the draft. In Florida, I was a veteran. They had a special psychiatrist to come to Kentucky. They checked me. They didn't want me. But as soon as my name was Muhammad Ali, as soon as I announced I was a Muslim, then all of a sudden I became smart.
Well, then you do believe that. You believe that you were drafted only because you changed your name to Muhammad Ali and joined the Muslim religion. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. They knew that I wasn't going. They know the government. They know the only Elijah Muhammad his fall was the jails are packed with Muslims, but this would justify my title being taken.
Yeah.
This.
Well, now, if you hadn't changed your name and your religion, in your judgment, you would have continued to have been listed as undraftable.
My wife trying to catch my dog in the live shot. Bull. Catch my dog in the live.
Sure.
Salmon.
The reason I asked this is I'd like to know, in the course of appealing to the courts, your lawyer must have made that point, but apparently made that point unsuccessfully. So did they, in fact, asked the draft board to explain how come all of a sudden they need to declassify you? Did the draft board give a plausible reason?
They asked the draft board to explain a lot. So as a matter of fact, I have about 675 documents I had of handwritten letters by Baptist preachers and some white Lutheran ministers and Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The question was, is he really sincere? And like right now, I consider myself in court now. I faced one white judge, and now I'm looking at you, and I already had one white jury and audience, such as I have here now. And it really makes, I have to be real cool and not savage and radical because it makes me angry when I think about it. When I see white boys, really the number one citizens, the future rulers, when I see them by the hundreds leaving the country, see the white preachers breaking into draft board houses in Wisconsin and Baltimore, turn the files out of the walls, and making a bond trial out of 4,000 and 5,000 draft cards, pouring blood on it. And I see them go to court, and the judge said 2 years, and I get 5 years for legally doing what's legal. I said, if I lose, I'm going
Now,
to.
wait a minute, you say legally.
And you can denounce the draft on any grounds. You have to go to court. If you lose, you pay. You have to be a man and pay your citizens, which I said I'm going to do, not leave the country. And this is legal. What I'm doing is legal. If you pay, if you're guilty, you gotta pay. What I'm doing is legal. So the people, I'm not using these people as an excuse to do it.
But now, wait a minute, the 5 years that you're talking about is for doing something illegal in the eyes of the court system of the United States, right?
No, so it's not illegal in the court system to not take a step. If your grounds are justifiable and you can prove it. And then
Well, I bet you could prove it.
Yes, but we had to prove. Here's what I was getting me to say to make sure black man out, if you understand. Our first wife I had to divorce, this is before the draft come up because she didn't wear dresses long. Thank you, remember this. This was headline news. It cost me $250,000. I'm paying $1,200 a month now in alimony. Paid $96,000 in lawyer's fees. Now, if this is not sincerity, I don't know what. Then I'm not trying to.
No, I don't doubt your sincerity. I'm talking about
This is what
the legality and sincerity are two different things. You can be perfectly sincere, for instance, in desiring to break the law, but it's still a broken law.
What I'm saying is that this sincerity was not recognized. I mean, the files, the papers, everything we had. You asked me a question.
Yeah.
Did you say to the draft board that when you accepted Muhammad Ali, they seemed to change and that you was completely wouldn't? Well, all these things brought up and they completely overlooked it.
Well, let's grant the sincerity of a couple of judges and quote them. I think it's only fair to do so under the circumstances. One of them, the first one you approached, said that Cassius Clay, quote, claims to be a minister of the North Foundation of Islam and maintains he was due a ministerial exemption from the draft. Vocation is clearly that of a professional boxer. His point was that, in fact, you were a
That's
professional boxer.
what we did tell the judge there. He said, if you're a minister, why are you boxing? At the time I heard this, Islamic teachers is talking about Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I was at about $138,000 in debt, and this debt had to be paid. And boxing was my way of paying my debt. But I would say one thing. I was asked in a way when he said, take the step, choose between the wealth of America, the millions of dollars, and the title, or the ministry. So I chose the ministry. If I was not sincere, then I would have easily went to Vietnam, box exhibitions, and made a couple of cool videos.
I don't think anybody in his right mind would doubt your sincerity.
Well, this is what the whole thing's about.
No, I don't think so. The question is whether or not you fit into certain specifications as defined by the law.
Right.
Now, for instance, the judge in the next higher court ruling against you said that you postponed objections to participation in war insofar as they are based upon the teachings of the Nation of Islam, resting on grounds which primarily are political and racial. But these constitute only objections to certain types of war in certain circumstances, rather than a general scruple against participation in war of any form. However, under the law, only a general scruple against participation in war of any form can support an exemption as a conscientious objector. Now that makes sense. That's not anti-you.
Right. You're right. One thing I would like to say is that I have to admit, and tell you this. My first lawyer, who was a black man, he was pretty well versed, but not versed enough. And I was a minister at the time that they called me. I started working throughout the country for the teachers, and that's what I was talking about all the way running. And his hardship was my first case. He said, this is what we'll do. Then they want to grant us the planning on hardship. But still, I would have to work in a hospital or something, but not carry weapons. So I couldn't do this.
Right.
Well, the Holy Quran, our religious book teaches us that we who declare ourselves to be righteous Muslims do not participate in no wars, in no way, fashion, or form to take the lives of other humans. And so what I'm saying is that I should have told, it's my fault in a way too, I should have told the lawyer that I'm not participating in no kind of way. So the tool, and after he failed that, he went on another ground and had to support my mother, which was not enough to keep me from going in some kind of way. So then Hayden Covington, or wiser lawyer from Washington, moving hard, he said, you're a minister. I said, that's right. He said, well, this is how you should have been at first. Because a minister don't have to take part in nothing, a hospital, nothing. He's the only way he's going to get out is going to go in as a minister. And I didn't know it. My first lawyer, he came up talking about this is not so. Other lawyer proved to me that it was so. Then when we filed with the ministry, I have to admit that it did look foreign in the public. Well, at first he tried to get by because of his conscious objectives. Second, he had to support his mother. Now he's a minister. But if we had met him first with the ministry, I'm sure it'd been much easier. So this is why the judge is saying this and saying it, because it didn't look funny, because we made the wrong moves at first.
Well, but then if that's the case, it's incorrect to say that, isn't it?
God,
Yeah, none of the judges.
no, I'm reading the first, I haven't read for it, it's not learned. So what I would say is that the lawyer should have done another way. And I would say that, but I'm not crying about it, I'm a man. And I would like to say that the judges can look at this as a fraud in the beginning if they want. They can still look at the third case. Is he sincere as a minister, or is it real things that are happening to me? I'm just playing here. I rely on Almighty God all along. And whatever happens, happens. I'm not trying to convince the jury or the judge that I'm sincere. We took the papers in and we did the best to go on the law. And what happens, happens. But be sure that they know where I am.
You say that your religion prohibits participation in any war at all. My own understanding from reading the works of Muhammad, Elijah, is that the prohibition is against, quote, white Christian wars. Now, do you mean that your own religion is different from his? That you consider yourself a pacifist?
My religion is different from whose?
From Muhammad Elijah Muhammad.
No, I follow him. But I can't be different from him. I follow
You
him.
follow him. So you would take his word for it if he says that the only wars that are forbidden are participation in white Christian wars. This leaves some wars in which you would be willing to
The
participate.
Quran said we take part in no wars, no way, fashion, or form that take the lives of other humans. And it also said this is a holy law declared by Allah or one of his prophets or messengers, and this heaven there.
Well, but in fact, the black Muslims in America, as you know, have made considerable modifications on the Quran.
I like to say one thing, sir. We cannot change the Quran and make no modifications. This cannot be done. We're no longer hoping. But I would say, I like to say another thing while we're here. People here, college students, look intelligent, understand you're well intellect, intelligent man. We are not black Muslims. We are Muslims. See, you have Catholics, you have Chinese Catholics, you have Indian Catholics, you have black Catholics, you have white Catholics. But I'm sure you don't ask the man, are you a white Catholic, are you a Chinese, are you a yellow Catholic, or a red Catholic, or a white Catholic? He's just a Catholic. We have black Muslims, we have brown Muslims, we have red Muslims, we have yellow Muslims, and even white complected Muslims. So I like to clear that point. This is a press word, black Muslim. Islam religion has no color distinction. We are just Muslims. And I like to
I know that you're aware, obviously, that rigorous members of the Islamic faith have denounced the American Muslim movement.
Well, I would
The one that we're referring to on the grounds of its heterodoxy. They say simply that a lot of rules are sort of made in Chicago, which have really no bearing. For instance, the whole notion of the sainted race and all that kind of thing.
I like to say one thing. Many people are quick to say that we are not recognized by Muslims in the East. I start with Dr. Elijah Muhammad in 1969. He went throughout the whole city of Mecca. He dined and wined with Nasser of Egypt and all of the black rulers of Islamic countries. I left his house a few days ago. About 7 or 8 scholars of Islam constantly come to his house from Lebanon, Syria, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia. When I was sentenced to jail, Muhammad Ali, the Supreme Council of all Islamic affairs, it was in the paper, it was in the back page in this small writing, they didn't want people to see it. It said, in the name of 600 million Muslims, Muhammad Ali is a Muslim, he's recognized by us also, and do not jail him. The president of Turkey, it was in the papers here in America, wrote over, bearing witness that I wasn't Muslim and recognized. The president of Syria and Lebanon have ate dinner with Nasser 3 times in his palace. I was invited by King Faisal to open the pilgrimage to Mecca with him hand in hand, where 600 million Muslims from all over the world come. And Elijah Muhammad's son, Herbert Muhammad, has just left for Kuwait, invited by the government. So daily Muslims come to our mosques in Cleveland, Washington, wherever we have colleges, they all come to our centers. We all are recognized.
Yeah,
but this is false propaganda. I just want to say.
Well, if it's false propaganda, why, for instance, should have been propagated by Malcolm X?
I like to say, I'm not trying to be funny. I hope people don't laugh.
Sure.
But I'm graduate high school, and the word propaganda by Malcolm X. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, Malcolm X came back, as you know, from the Mideast, and renounced the movement of Elijah Muhammad, precisely on the grounds that it was not the same kind of Islam faith, which he found very attractive.
Well, I would like to say one thing about, I don't know too much about what he saw, but he was there in 1959, I think, before, and he saw that they were like Muslims. But Malcolm X got famous mainly dead hard on people like you, white people, white devils, you blue-eyed, blonde-headed dog. Or he got famous like this, and he had made so many white enemies. Whites care nothing about Malcolm, nor so-called Negroes, when he was really dominated like Muhammad. But they seem to follow dead leaders or people. But I would like to say this.
White people would kill him.
I would like to say this. He was a man, everything he had came from Elijah Muhammad. And when he denounced or was put out for various reasons of the faith, then he had to, from what I understood, this is me talking, I'll be to blame if I said anything wrong. He had to get back with you all. And in other words, he seemed to be apologizing for things that he had said because of protection of Allah and the Muslims were not with it. But I'd like to say that we are.
I think he tried to make himself pleasing to the white community.
This is what saying this is me talking. This is not antagonize him, antagonize you.
No, but you say that.
I would like to say that whites jump right behind him. They're making a book about him. It's required reading in all colleges now, and they're making a movie about him and projecting him as the leader. And if you read his book and see the movie that's coming out, it'll make you hate Elijah Muhammad and the Muslims. Mainly, this is done to turn the black people against the real leader. And I like to say that this is the way white people rule. This is your history. Divide and conquer. See, the first whites were fathers when they came over. They choked Cochise with running bulls, stole his horses. Then after they got through fighting, they came in and took over. And whites have always put one against another. And now they have a dead man who was nothing but, and he admitted himself, Malcolm, was a tramp or had white women selling the body for him. He was nothing until the Honorable Elijah Muhammad made it great. Made it great. Taught him that even his name X comes from Elijah. He gave him his name. Honorable Elijah Muhammad was established leader before he was born. Now you seem to try to make it look like he was a leader and he was powerful. Everything I have. Let me say one thing. I barely got out of school. I got out of school mainly because I was a champion. I actually didn't pass. I won't name the teachers that put me through. But you are a wise man, you're an intelligent man, and if I was not a Muslim or followed the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I couldn't talk to you for 2 minutes. And I believe I can hold on an intelligent conversation with you. But it all comes from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But people praise me, oh, you should be the leader. Well, you don't have to follow Elijah. Man, are you a fool? Everything I got comes from it. He taught me who I was. He made me proud. He made me fearless. He made me love my own. I've turned down millions and to keep me selling out my people. The beautiful name Muhammad Ali. I now have 56 Muslim invitations by governments. All they ask me about when I go to those countries, how's Elijah Muhammad? White people, twice a day, 65 and 70, their bus stop in front of Elijah Muhammad's house, hoping to get a glimpse of it. And you cannot destroy me like you have other big ministers of his in the past by telling us, oh, you speak good, you should be the leader. See, this is to get me thinking that I'm smart. And as soon as I leave Elijah, you can get me. But as long as I stay down Elijah Muhammad, I'm safe. And if Malcolm X has stayed with the man that made him great, taught him everything he knew, today he's getting big, big, big. But as soon as, in other words, how can I come to your son and say you are wrong for spanking him? When you fed him, you clothed him, you gave him his name, you birthed him in the world. Who am I to come in and be the judge and say, why did you spank that boy? You taught him, you have a right to spank him. And Malcolm X did some things. He said something about Kennedy he shouldn't have said. 130 whites died tragically on a jet. He praised it. And R.B. Elijah Muhammad is not the kind of man who ordained it. So he had to spank it. And after you white people had told him how good he taught, he should be the leader, he couldn't take the spanking. He had to run out and start the movement, and that's when he destroyed it. You understand? So I would say whites destroyed Malcolm X.
I understand what you say. I understand what you say. And I no doubt out of the sincerity or the eloquence of your tribute to Elijah Muhammad, but I do think that assuming that we are prepared to question the divinity of Elijah Muhammad, then one has to assume that somebody like Malcolm X, when he turned against him, might have been doing so for honest, sincere reasons. That is to say, he might have thought, well, I've been following this man for a number of years, but all of a sudden, I have reached a level of understanding which permits me to see that he's pretty human after all, and that beyond a certain point, he doesn't have anything to teach me.
He's human, and not having nothing to teach him.
Well, some people treat him as though he was divine.
Yeah, well,
When
he's
he
dead.
departed
He's
divine,
dead.
you know, that
We don't talk about dead people. They're dead and they go.
who's dead?
Malcolm X is dead.
Oh, yes.
And we follow down Elijah Muhammad, who is the boss. And we'd rather not to stay here on the show and waste a lot of time arguing about a dead black man. The whites are common enemies.
Well, I no doubt, of course, he teaches you that, and no doubt you understand.
We don't have to teach it. You
Yeah,
don't have to teach a black man whites is white is enemies.
Well, you see, from my point of view, what Elijah Muhammad is doing to you is diseasing your mind. You sit and tell me that these white people will like to divide and conquer. I grew up as a white child. I heard much more talk against Democrats than I did against black people. And I grant there's a lot of division in the sense that Republicans are divided.
Republicans won't lynch each other and castrate each other, they try to defend each other, and rape and slave for 100 years.
Now, wait a minute. This is.
I want to ask you a question. 22 million black people in America, who would you say our everyday common enemy? What other country or what nationality? I mean, you have the nerve to be on a TV show like this and look at me like I'm wrong for saying Elijah Muhammad is poisoning you by telling you that we're your enemies. And I feel it and see it every day. And every black man watching this show knows you are enemies. And you have the nerve to stand up here and say Elijah Muhammad is poisoning my mind. He cannot teach us that you are enemy. You told us. And your people dealing, Martin Luther King is bumped off unjustly. Adam Clayton Powell is bumped off unjustly. They took my title unjustly. They killed Megazev unjustly. all the immigrants who loved white folks was unjustly kicked out of Washington. They had been deprived of education and poverty throughout the country. They just came back from Vietnam, 12 boys in Chicago, and they sit on the television and they told how white soldiers are teaching Viet Congers to hate them. They fly rebel communist flags, and they doing everything that they can to invite them in Vietnam. Now you can tell me that Elijah Muhammad and trying to make the public think that he's poisoning me by teaching us the truth. Here's his latest newspaper. Here's his latest newspaper. Muhammad Speaks. Now it's full of truth. You can get the paper in every city. You can buy Muhammad Speaks. And if this, I mean, you're a wise man, but I don't think you're too much wiser than the ones who run the country, the White House.
Much wiser.
One challenge is nothing you teach. I mean, you're intelligent, I'm intelligent. We all know he's here. So I'm not here to tell you something you don't know about.
No, I'm simply telling you that you believe something which I have to know isn't true.
Now hold it. What is it that I believe?
You believe
It's not true.
you believe that the entire white community is your enemy. I have to know it's not your enemy. I doubt there's anybody in this room who is your
I'll tell
enemy.
you what.
But I do believe that just as Hitler persuaded all the Germans to believe that all the Jews were their enemy, that the people are engaged in virulence, and that some very, very sincere people get caught up in it. You're an example of it. And under the circumstances, you end up doing a disservice to the
Did you say Martin Luther King?
cause.
Did you say Martin Luther King doing a disservice?
What is the
What's he
relevance
doing
of
a
that?
disservice?
Whether you went to school or not, explain to me the relevance of that remark.
I'm asking you the question. You said I'm doing a disservice. Who
You mean you
doing a
think it's
disservice?
still by white man?
No,
And Dr. X was still by black
I'm
man?
not talking
So
about
what? So what else is
You're
needed?
getting upset. I'm not talking about that.
But
All I asked you was Elijah Muhammad is doing a disservice on whatever it is that he's doing.
Yeah.
Well,
At one level he's doing this.
what's the level?
At the level of trying to persuade people that all white people are the same and despise zero people.
All right, now I'm
At the level in which you
Let's look at some of let's look at some of the things he's doing.
Excuse me one second, right? Go ahead and start it.
Like dog can't catch a break on him.
You see, one thing that he's
We'll be
doing
back
is not
12 o'clock.
Yeah.
trying to persuade black people
Yeah.
that all white people